Ladies, gentlemen, and airliner nerds of all sizes. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Angel, and this is the WBsim JPLogistics Cessna 152 mod. And yes, this is free. The link to their Discord where you can get this will be in the description of the video, so go check it out there. But this is a mod that came out for 2020 and is now compatible with 2024. And this turns one of the most mild, friendly training aircraft in the sim into an amazingly good pay-where quality add-on. Now, the stock 152s were not fantastic. Now, they're pretty amazing. We looked at this in 2020 and it was stunning. We're going to play with it in 24. It has new features, it has new updates, and it looks awesome. We're going to go take a look. Now, I'm sure this is not the final version of what we'll see with 24, because a lot of the features that 24 supports, this thing already has it its own way. So we'll go take a look at this in a second. For those of you who aren't familiar though, the 152 is a training aircraft developed by Cessna in the 1960s, 70s, first delivered in 77 as the 78 model year, and it has had 7,500 built. Developed from the 150, it's along compatible with the Beechcraft Skipper and the Piper Tomahawk, so very similar to that. And as you can see here, we have a tailwheel mod, which comes with this. We get 3 versions included with the mod, wheeled versions and the tailwheel version. So we have like wheel pants, no wheel pants. We have the tail dragger, of course. In real life, you can get things like stall kits, this tail dragger kit for the aircraft. They are pretty potent little machines. Now, in general, we're talking 1 passenger, 1 pilot. We're talking a Lycoming O235, putting out 100, 110 horsepower, mostly 110 of the newer ones. 2-blade fixed pitch prop, 109 knots of max speed, 107 cruise, stall of 43, range of 450 nautical miles. She's not big and she's not clever, but she's a fun little plane. And we're going to really see how she can perform today. So less flapping around. Now, of course, stunning exterior visuals, but part of that is it's the stock one, which does help. But this is heavily worked over by them, of course. Not only do we have things like our doors that function in this, unfortunately not in the walk-around feature, so we have to shift seat inside. But the first thing you'll see is a tablet, in which we can literally set things like covers. So parking brake out. I'm not sure where I can't set shocks. I think that's for the wheeled version where it's on nose wheel. But if I was to go outside here, you could... Oh, God. Who is that raspy ass? Oh, okay, it started. I think I hit the wrong button there. But we've got engine covers, which shouldn't be good right now. Pitot covers, we'll get back inside. I think I hit ready for flight. So we'll know. We'll shut that up. Cold and dark, please. Go away. Quiet. We'll look at some of these features first. We'll take the Pitot covers off the engine covers too. We'll look at instruments. Now, you can have, and I know the purists will be upset, an autopilot, which if you are new or just wanting a more chill experience, these really don't have these. But you can have one in the sim if you want it. Fantastically useful if you want to have it go on a longer flight. It's compatible currently with the PMS GTN 750 now. And there's a mod available for the TDS one as well. We've got DMEs, we've got ADF support. We've got everything. Everything you possibly want. We've got the system over there as well. So for the ADF support as well. So we'll get rid of those. We don't need either of those things right now. Oh, old school coffee grinder. Do like a bit of that. Now we can have the EGT, which I prefer to have on my center there rather than a clock. Way more useful, because EGT will be relevant. Under maintenance, we can refill our oil, charge our battery, engine health, settings, state-saving pilots, etc., etc. Pilot weights, fuel settings, everything we want. We can even change our background. Say by clicking on the... Where is it? I think it's there. There we go. We can just change the background images to whatever we like it to be. Doesn't really matter, but we could also put this away. Now... Oh, I love it when you go to that first third-person camera view in the plane. And again, note how we are having that same problem of pilots not appearing. This appears to be a super common thing with 2024. And it's a little bit frustrating as to why that's a thing. But it's not alone. So we'll get this door closed. We'll get ourselves started up. So first thing off, fuel cock open. Mixture to full rich. Throttle. Give her a good bit of a whizzle there. Crack it about 1/4 inch. Now we're going to give it 1 notch on the primer. Mags are on. Battery's on, so clear prop. She's not big, she's not clever, she's not complicated, but she works just fine. So avionics and everything else are turned on here. Turn our radios on. Everything we need is switched on there. Even the ADF's on there. Fantastic. Now, I'm pretty sure those shouldn't be actually digital. They might be, but I'm pretty sure those other models actually had the roll cards for the actual numbers. But we're going to go play here. We're up at Alert Bay in Canada, and we're going to head down to Port Neal and then down towards Nimkish Lake, and we're going to go play, because this being a tail dragger, we're going to go drag its tail a little bit. Yeah? I think it needs to drag its tail on the ground, see how it likes the mud, see how it does stall, because Okando has suggested that this is good in the bush. And he is a man who knows his bush planes, so we're going to have to try this thing out and see just how she plays Avangel style. I think that's important, don't you? Right, so American numbers for this. Okay. Stand by. Now, of course, we can close and open our windows, and these will actually affect our performance, so we'll look at that once we're in flight. Okie dokie dokie. Now, there is, of course, one or two little bugs. Now, this is the classic 2020-2024 bug of two lots of glass in front of each other will cause flickering. Notice when I do this, it's perfectly fine. In fact, we'll wind these back just so they're out of the way there. Now, in real life, this could be a little annoying, but it'll do for now for us. There we go. Right, let's get ourselves moving. So, parking brake off. Oh, but before I do this, one really cool feature that I haven't shown you, and I'm going to have to switch off the head tracking and the engine. Do forgive me. So, our parking brake is off. Tow bar back here. Click on it. I don't really feel like turning around, do you? So I'm going to push by pressing W, and I can use my rudder to essentially steer with the tow bar to turn our plane around. Isn't that neat? That's absolutely neat. I love that. And we're back in the cockpit here. It's just a matter of start the engine again. There we go. Let's get out of here. Let's go do some bush flying at a 152. Why not? Excuse me, Carol. Okay. Now, she's not got the world's best power to performance. At least in the lower powered trainers that get a little bit worn out. But we'll have to see how this one behaves. More than enough room in that direction, so we're going to take off to our left here. Now, it is looking pretty bright here because we're flying in summer in Canada. I have no desire to go flying in the winter right now because it's been cold enough in England. I don't want to see any more of that, thank you. She's a little tail happy, that's what I'm already noticing from this. I've never flown a tail dragger 152 in real life. Well, that's up on its tail very quickly. Really quickly on the tail there, and we're off wheels already. Yes, I've got a stall horn, that's me deliberately pulling back on purpose to see how quickly I can get it in the air. We'll let our nose down here, we'll get the flaps up, and we'll gain some speed. Okay. She has some life to her, I see. Now, head southeast here a little bit. Now, that ahead of us should be Beaver Cove. So, Port Neal should be over there. Right to our side, out to our right window. Now, I'm going to get us straight and narrow here, so give me a second, I'll just set our trim. Just nicely there. Perfect. Now I'm going to open a window. Notice that? We turned a little bit. It was actually causing some drag. So the windows actually have an impact here. Which is not that dramatic, I will say, in real life, but it's definitely an impact. Okay. Now we're going to see what this thing's like with some really low performance numbers. Get it down to low speeds, see how she behaves with full flaps. Go for some off-field landings, some short-field stuff, and see what she can do. But this is Beaver Cove down here. We're in the Nimkish Nature Reserve here, north of the island. And having that EGT, by the way, is fantastic if you're getting to slightly higher altitudes in a normally aspirated engine, because you can really see what the engine's going to want to do. Obviously, here at sea level, we're not too worried about that. It's not a problem, but it's nice to know. Okay, so I see a potential for our first landing here in Beaver Cove. And I'm thinking that might be a bit much of an ask. But we can take a look. We'll get a little bit closer. I think I can stick it on that sandbar. Right down there. That's looking plausible, don't you? Yeah, we'll go for that. We'll see how soft it's going to be. That could be our downs... what's the English word I'm looking for here? That could be our downfall, but we'll try. Now, I don't see a ton of rock on that, so that's good. There's one or two. Oh, there's a few. There's a few, but it's not all over it, so we should be okay. Alright, we'll get ourselves turned around here. We'll come in for a squizzle. And we'll see what we can make of it. How good is our 152 going to be on its first time? This is my first time flying this thing in the sim, just a heads up. So if I plow into the ground and explode into a ball of flames, well, it's beginner's luck, right? That is my excuse, and I'm sticking with it all day long. Right. Little flappy doodle. Full flaps here. Yep, that's expected. That's fine. We're going to tuck it in sideways around that tree. Is the hope. This could be more than I should really try. But we're going to see what we can do. Okay, steady on, steady on. Whoa, Nelly. Whoa, Nelly. Good girl. Slow down. Okay, okay. I almost look professional there. My God. Now, the downside you'll get versus a proper bush plane is this has electrical flaps. And they can be pretty slow at times. So, typically you will not land a 152 on full flaps unless you're committing to landing. Because once the flaps are deployed, you do not really have the potential to get out of that if you've made a mistake. You can put yourself in some real trouble. This is the thing I love about bush flying now in the new sim. We can actually get out and see our plane. But most importantly, well, we've made some dents in the sand, but nothing too bad. So I think we're good for a takeoff. And I think we're going to go out here and peel to the left will be our goal. We should be pretty good there. Yeah, should be just grand. Right, let's do this, shall we? Parking brakes enabled, so we'll just turn here. No, we're not going to get it to tail. Oh, we are going to get to tail up. Oh, okay. Whoa, that's a bit nose down. That's okay, it's okay, it's okay. We can hold on. So she can tail stand. It's on the brakes. That's interesting. Just need to get the nose up a little bit. That's all we needed. That's all we needed. Okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. Oh, this is not the kind of flying this thing wants to do in the slightest. Oh my gosh, that is hairy. That is hairier than an entire motorcycle club chapter. During a beard growing contest. Ooh, okay. We're up. We're going to head down inland a little bit. We'll pop out towards Nipkish Lake. And we'll see if we can find some sandbars and some spots along the way. So we'll drop down here, then take our turn to the west. But that's a pretty reasonably short little spot there. I think we did a rather decent job of it. So it's pretty clear she's got some legs on her, especially this tail dragger version. Now, I am going to open both the windows. Just for symmetry's sake. Because these little things get warm. That's a tree. Now, of course, this full systems work in this in terms of engine wear and tear, damaging, extra sounds, and extra features. All of our circuit breakers down here work, of course, now. So they all function as they should. A little further south and we'll turn inland. In fact, that's like a good little spot there. Do a quick recce pass along that field and turn around and drop it in there. That looks like a good spot for a straight in little test, so we'll stick her at a bit of a side slip here. Just to drop some altitude without getting too hairy. No flaps for a recce pass because I don't want to basically have any trouble pulling away. Because even 110 horsepower, it's not a heavy aeroplane. But it's enough that, you know, 110 isn't going to be its best friend. Also, the rock cliff textures in 24, best thing of 2024, full stop. So we've got plenty of room here to get in, but I worry about the tree height getting away from that, because that's my concern. I'm not so sure. I think we're okay. But no, if you look at the cliff face there, look at that. We used to have stretch textures in 2020 and before. This is the first flight sim that has an auto recognition generation for a cliff surface of a certain angle, and it generates that rock texture, and it looks phenomenal, and it has changed the entire sim. For bush pilots who are around these kind of surfaces, especially up in British Columbia where you get lots of vertical cliff faces, you're so used to seeing those stretched trees, aren't you? Not now. Now we have rocks, and it's a tiny thing, but it makes the world of difference. Right. I'm a little concerned because the climb out, if I take off downhill, landing uphill I've got no problem. The climb out downhill, I'm not sure if I can get above the trees here. I think I can if I pull out and go to the right, but it's getting the altitude, so we'll have to see. We'll come around here, we'll do a drop in, and we'll see how it works. Now this is longer than we had at the beach, but we could get out at a shallower angle there and come in at a shallower angle. And flight sim trees are notoriously tall, so we'll see if we make this. I'm not positive yet. Okay. Looking good there. Start our curve, turn into final. $20 on there. Not a problem. Dropping speed and altitude nice and low. Little power here. Don't want to get too slow for the final turn. I want to be nice and low on energy. So it's going to ease her in for that final turn. Little power just to stretch me over the trees. In fact, we'll just slipsy doodle down. Burn off some energy. I don't like this. I'm pulling out of this. This is what I mean about flaps being a bit much. I'm struggling. And I'm already airborne. See, I'm already airborne and I struggled quite to clear that. That looked bigger from the air. That was with 20 degrees flaps and I was already airborne and I was already doing 40 or 50. So I don't think I'd have cleared those trees at the bottom end of that if I was taking off from dead stop. Something about it felt wrong. On the run in there, it just didn't feel right. I couldn't get low enough on the arrival, and my departure was going to have to be too high, and I was still going to have to peel more altitude, so I didn't like that at all. If I was in a cub, I'd absolutely go for that. But you see what a little bit of flaps does to the drag of this aircraft and what it does to its actual ability to climb? It really is a bit much. Right, we'll pop around here to the right, we'll come along towards Nimkish, and then we'll head north towards Port McNeill. We'll hopefully find another good spot to put down here. Maybe by the lake itself. That would be good. This part of BC is looking real nice now. Just the little scenes, little moments, little places. Everything just feels so much more visceral now. And with every patch and update that comes to 2024, I'm excited. It's going to get better and better. Now, for those who are curious in terms of my patch or performance settings right now, I have a Ryzen 9 5900X. I have 64 gigs of DDR4 RAM. I'd had 32, I've upgraded to 64. And in terms of an upgrade from 32, that was £80, £90, £100. Corsair Vengeance. And I already had 32, which for a lot of modern gaming machine is not unreasonable. Plus I do video rendering, so it's useful for me. Oh, if we go down here. But my graphics card is an RTX 3070 Ti. So my graphics settings I will show you now, in fact. And this is what I went into NVIDIA Inspector, or NVIDIA... Not Inspector, the Experience app. And I went into the game settings. I took its recommended settings, actually, because I'd been having problems with my performance in this game until I went to the actual recommended. In fact, I've got an idea. 1 second, stand by. I got this for you guys, don't worry. So if you use an NVIDIA card, NVIDIA app, I will open this now. Yeah. So global quality is custom, but essentially I'm running 150 on terrain LOD, lower than I wanted, but I've got a lot of things high and ultra, which is pretty useful. Now these are what this is what the system recommended. So I'm going what it recommended. I'll show you that in a minute. These are my settings. I have these off in general because I just don't worry about them really. But a lot of things are set to very high. So you'll understand that right there. Okay, so here we are. Now, if I was to go to my games, for example, on here, and I believe it goes towards graphics settings here. Now, you'll see if I go down to where I have Flight Sim, you'll see this is set to optimized, right? So if I go to a game that is not optimized, for example, I will go to, oh, let's go to Cyberpunk. This could go horribly wrong. Now, I can set unable to retrieve setting. Great option there. That one's unable to retrieve. Isn't optimized. Fantastic. War Thunder. Now, I can click optimize, and I can just show you what my actual recommended values are here, and what I'm currently running. And it will upgrade me to what it thinks is I can handle on my machine based on my settings. And it actually works pretty well. Now, it's in here recommended quality. I can go absolutely max out everything. To be honest, the only real difference is I'm not using DLSS and I'm not using full screen. I use borderless. So I can tab in and out. Fantastic. You see what I mean? So if you do use NVIDIA, this is a fantastic thing to do because then you can actually see what it wants you to use for Flight Sim, which in my case actually made a big difference in performance. Okay, so tech adventure over. There's a bit of a lake down there. I don't think I can land anywhere near that, but we should have some opportunities down here. This is going to take us north back towards Port Neal. There's the lake there. So I could have a look down here. Let's see what we've got on the side of the lake here. Or I definitely see some potential straight ahead. We're going to go for that first. Although, no, nothing down there, and that particular lake's good. But straight ahead looks like it has some potential, so we're going to go for a straight ahead. We'll see what it's going to do, and if I have to abort, I'll abort. But with this sim, I think I have to do recce passes for everything, otherwise it's going to get me killed. The burble of the engine's a new one at low throttle. I do like that. So we've got a road there, actually coming through this area. Can I land onto that? Well, it's going to probably be as covered in rock and everything you can imagine. There's a bit too much, nothing in a straight line up here, actually. And the terrain is actually way derpier than it looks, and there's rocks all over that road. This is the downside. Even roads here are covered in massive boulders and rocks. Now, with all the AI that's running in this sim, I'd think they'd managed to find a way to basically go, I'm going to banish rocks and trees from things that look like roads. Because there's a bunch of airstrips that aren't actually landable that are in the sim because they're in real life, but you can't actually access them because of that. Right, this beach looks fantastic. We'll take a look at this. A beach should not have rocks on it, so we should be relatively safe. This is the northern tip of Nimkish Lake. Right by the bridge there. So we'll slipsy-doodle down here. This is looking a-okay, and this is long and straight. I like it. Yeah, this is perfect. Although the water comes up relatively high here, we should be just fine. So we'll circle around, we'll do a landing. I will say depth judgment in this is so much better now. I know the airliner people are really wanting to have more features added for them, and I sympathise. Your kind of flying is important to you. But I will say, for the longest time, you guys have had the forefront on the Sims from FSX all the way forwards. It is nice for once to actually have the Sim really kick ass for bush pilots. For GE and Bush, we've really made do. Low and slow flying has made do. for years. Right, 20 degrees on the flaps. So we'll bring it around here. We'll follow the coastline around. We should be good. I'm going to try and land as short as I can. So I'm going to use the bridge as my reference point. Coming in just after the bridge there. So... we should be okay. Okay. Full flaps. Let's kill some energy here. Oh god. I've gone swimming, I think. Yeah, we've gone for a bit of a swim. Little short there. Yeah, that one's on me. I tried too hard for that one. But I will say it's kind of cool seeing the plane sitting in the shallows there. Even if I am a little bit soggy now. That's unfortunate. We can take off, we'll try it again. We'll be just fine. I've probably broken the engine, so will it start? It'll start. There we go. Miracles have happened. There we go. Right. Should be good here. One notch of flaps in. We'll make it happen a second time. We'll go around, we'll do a second landing. We should be just fine. Oh, there we go. Curve it round the beach front as we keep going round, so we've got some... yeah. There we go. Not bad. So we can definitely take off, so landing should be just fine. I was trying way too hard there, and I came in short, caught the water. And what I'm assuming is softer gravel. And it flipped me end over. Definitely a risk. And I'm leaving that in because, you know, I like to include my mistakes when we're flying together. I don't shy away from that. Alright. Little bit round here. We'll stick with 20 actually on the flaps. I'm going to stick with 20 rather than 35. I've always been shied away from 35. Like I said, I always got taught it was a commitment. So we very rarely used full flaps. And it just feels way too draggy. Yeah, stall horn is just your friend. It just means you're about to stall, not that you are. Nothing wrong with hearing it occasionally. It's like a nice old friend. Just like that, see? You bar nose up. There we go. And we have touched down. We've already landed here, so I'm going to go full power. Retract a notch of flaps here. And we're going to go for basically a go around on a beach takeoff landing. Or a touch and go, sorry. Nose down, flaps up. Can I get out here to the right is the question. I think I can. And we'll head north towards Port McNeill now. Enough faffing. It's very capable. Like I said, these are my first times flying it, so obviously me crashing it's not a big deal. But it's a very enjoyable plane to fly. I will say, they've done a very good job with this. In terms of it being a mod, I'm very impressed. Now, I'd love to see things like 24's features enabled to this, or more put into this, but this is a fantastic little tablet to include. The fact this is so customizable as a freeware product, and we've paid for worse aircraft than this. I want you guys to understand that. We paid for worse aircraft than this. In terms of its base functionality, its features, its richness of the systems depth, the functionality of the actual engine and systems. Have I damaged it, by the way, from slamming it into the lake? Let's have a quick look. Well, we can't tell because we're in the air still. We'll look on the ground. But the level of depth we get from this aircraft and the functions it gives us for a freeware plane are incredible. Absolutely incredible. It was in 2020 and it absolutely still is in 2024. It's free, so I recommend you go get it. Like I said, I'll link to the Discord in my video description, so go grab that, go support the developers. They're working on 172 as well, so that'll be a fun one to see. But yes, I highly recommend checking this out. It works great. And again, like I said, the pilot thing seems to be a 2024 thing, because now nearly every aircraft I've seen in the sim that uses the stock pilots that's not native to the sim has that issue where you can't see the pilots. I don't know what it is, but it seems to be very common. And I wish I knew what caused it, but we're all ghost riding on the whip, and I'm not quite sure why. Right. Airport is dead ahead. So, drawing the downwind for the final for the runway. We should be just good here. Not that we'll use most of this, but we'll be using it anyway. Yeah, as in terms of functionality and in terms of features and depth and enjoyment, you can have a real blast in this, because it's turned what is a simple, gentle aircraft into something truly enjoyable in terms of depth, and it's free. So go support the developer, go give them a hello, give them a thank you on the Discord, join their community there, and see what those guys are going to do. And I'm very excited because WBsim, they did do, of course, some of the Realism things early on in 2020. We've got a couple of those aircraft. So it'll be nice to see what more they can do. Now, is this the only one right there, or is there one extended I'm looking at? I'm probably going the wrong way. I'm just going to do a corkscrew back here and touch down there, because I think I was going for a runway that's no longer in use. We'll use this as an opportunity to experiment with the aeroplane and see what she'll do here. I'm going back to idle. Now, the real thing, of course, you go to idle and then you're going to want to put the carb heat on straight away. Right there. Carb air heat. That comes out, that comes out, that goes in, that goes in. Especially in British weather. There's the runway. One notch of flaps in. And we'll use a bit of this. Actually, we'll go this way around because we're going to slide this way. Little nudgeroo. I'm going to go as asymmetrical as possible here to try and upset the aeroplane. That's it. I'm just going to hang this on the propeller as long as I can. I'm going to go full flaps. We're going to try and touch down where the concrete starts. Not here, but see the concrete up ahead? We're going to touch down about there, and I'm going to see what I can do with this thing. You're going to hear a lot of squealing here. It's going to be okay. I promise. A little short, but yeah, it wasn't enjoying staying in the air with that at all. It was really not enjoying that. It did not want to go down there, but that's fine. Yeah, I was hoping to kind of drag it out till we reach that concrete apron area. Like, start of here. And I was going to use this as my threshold touchdown point to kind of judge distance, but I came in about here, I think. Unless those are my tire marks. I don't think those are, though. They might be. Yeah, those are. So yeah, we touched down right there, and I let it roll out, so... It doesn't need a lot of runway, but I was hoping to touch down further along. But I think it was just getting very upset, because if you look at this, that's a lot of flaps for 110 degrees. 110 horsepower. But it did not do anything weird, by the way. And the 152 doesn't tend to do a lot of weird. I've never flown the tail dragger. I've only got experience on the trike. But she doesn't do anything weird when she stalls. Like, she's not a very spinny aeroplane. And that was actually pretty good. Like, it was definitely sponging hard, but it was just losing altitude with the... I couldn't really keep her up in the air with full power and the full flaps on. It was really struggling to kind of maintain at that altitude. So, not recommended for future use there. But she is a very, very enjoyable little aeroplane from these guys, and I would highly recommend it. Lots and lots of fun, very free, and an absolute blessing in 2024. Go check it out. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.